Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing today? Well, baby, if your name is Sean Diddy Combs, you are shucking and jiving, doing the thing. If you guys don't know, there's been a new lawsuit filed against Diddy. Also, Diddy's team has now said that they want more time to contest the pre-sentencing report. Let's get into this because, first of all, this new lawsuit that comes out, baby, they were talking about, and it looked like it was a doozy. They was talking about, oh my God, Brandon Paul was like the mule and delivered a kilo and all this other stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, I was gonna go live and talk about it because they almost had me until he said this mess happened in 2015. And that's when I said, what's going on? I'm being serious. What is going on? Just hear me out. This was supposed to be happening in 2015. If you guys don't know, Brendan Paul started working for Diddy in 2022. I believe in 2022, Brendan Paul had either graduated college, just graduated, or he left his last year to go work with Diddy. I think he had just graduated. Brendan Paul was very young when he started working with Diddy. If you do the math back to 2015, he's saying that Brendan Paul, who in 2015, I believe was a sophomore or a junior in high school, literally was in Miami, and he jumped on a high-speed bike and dropped off. Here we goes. In the morning hours of April 3rd in Deerfield Beach, Florida, I personally observed Brendan Paul arrive under cover of darkness after an overnight ride from Ohio on a high-performance motorcycle. He described traveling at extremely high speeds, up to 200 miles an hour. I personally witnessed Mr. Paul receive a shipment of 2 kilos of narcs, 1 kilo of coca, and 1 kilo of what was believed to be methamphetamines. The price was a price of $20,000 had been discussed in advance. Is a kilo only $20,000? Okay, never mind. Fine. No money was exchanged in the handoff, consistent with the established delivery system rather than a casual one-off transaction. In my presence, Mr. Paul discussed prior and future deliveries and described specific evasion methods, including using thermal blankets to obscure heat signatures from aerial and roadside detection and diverting it into ravines and wooded areas using the motorcycle's off-road capabilities, as spotted by Florida Highway Patrol. Mr. Paul admitted he got the job through Christian Combs via Instagram and described his role as a transporter. These statements and the observed conduct are consistent with organized drug trafficking. Presence inside of a freak-off event. Later that night, after the rug drop-off, I observed Brendan Paul inside the event where I was especially tortured. I first saw his reflection in a mirror, turned and saw him in person laughing and jeering while Sean Combs and Jay-Z used a blank rubber blink to violently assault me. Okay, so let me just stop because what the hell? Brendan Paul in 2022, that boy wasn't even 22. In 2015, you literally 7 years ago, that means he was what, 15, 16 years old. Why would somebody drive all the way from Ohio at 200 miles an hour to come to Florida to take some rugs 50 feet? How was Christian Combs giving him the job 7 or 8 years ago? Actually, Christian Combs is 28 right now. In 2022, he was, that means Christian Combs was how old? 16, 17? Why would Christian be hired? First of all, Diddy don't seem to trust Christian with nothing, not even a hit. So how was Diddy doing this? My whole point of the matter is this lawsuit seems like a red herring. Just hear me out. I do believe that one of the reasons that this somehow makes it into the media where there is a crazy lawsuit that when you do the math, it's like this doesn't make sense, is because I feel like Diddy's team wants it in the media. I feel like Diddy somehow thinks he's walking free. And I feel like as far as the civil claims, Diddy wants to muddy the water so his team can be like, who knows what the truth is? There's all these crazy things and none of it's true. I feel like that's what they're going for. And I feel like by highlighting this lawsuit, that's what's happening. Now, what's the real tea that's going on? Diddy has a pre-sentencing report coming out on the 18th. The pre-sentencing report is going to be like a report card, basically saying, is this person a rabid, stone cold killer dog, or is he a choir boy that deserves to go out? If the pre-sentencing report, and here's the thing with the pre-sentencing report, unlike the jury, they interview witnesses. They interview people that know him. They interview people that are for him, and they interview everybody that the government had involved in the case, and also the people we never heard about. And when there's a number assigned, and that number is usually for minimum or mandatory sentencing. When it comes to the Mann Act, there is no minimum or mandatory. However, if the judge does something too cruel or too light, you can always appeal it. Only 10% of appeals ever get heard, less are even successful, but Diddy has beat a lot. Diddy is very, very worried about that pre-sentencing report. Why? Because Diddy has admitted to a lot of that violence. And violence, coercion, all that stuff, even though it might not be sex trafficking, according to that dumb jury, even though it might not be sex trafficking, right? And even though it might not be RICO, according to that dumb jury, it still means something in the pre-sentencing report. It shows that you have a history of violence, that you can't be controlled, that you fear the law, that you have violence that can't be predicted. Diddy's team is planning, when that pre-sentencing report comes out, they are planning to go to war over that pre-sentencing report. So they want 4 extra days in order to fight the pre-sentencing report. Now, here's the thing. I believe the judge actually granted those 4 extra days, which puts the prosecution in a worse state because they need to respond to whatever Diddy's team actually says. The prosecution keeps playing these games with Diddy's team, and Diddy's team has caught them flat-footed a few times. I hope they're prepared for it this time, even though something tells me probably as soon as that verdict came out, they went to work. And they've been writing that. Emily's been right, especially after Maureen Comey got let go. Emily probably been writing that mess from back then till right now. So maybe they are in place and they are done playing. But my whole point of the matter is, it seems like Diddy's team, to me, who knows if Diddy's team's behind it, but it seems like they are highlighting and bringing forward in the media these wackadoodle claims that can be easily disputed, okay? And they're doing it to highlight the fact of what they're actually trying to do to make sure Diddy actually walks free. And if he walks free, if he can get that Mann Act overturned, that means that a lot of these civil cases go away also. Again, they are pushing for that motion on the 25th, motion for acquittal. They want to get a new, they do want to get a new, what do you call it? They want to get a new trial, because in a new trial for the Mann Act, they can exclude all the violence he admitted to stick to the Mann Act, and that really would be time served. Or they want to just be complete acquittal, conviction overturned. The whole point of the matter is there's a lot going on in Diddy's case. Diddy is not going to take his punishment. He's not going to take this lying down. He thinks he's above the law. He has a team of lawyers that think they're above the law. He has a news media that acts like this man is above the law. A PR. The point of the matter is, right? I was about to start talking trash. The point of the matter is, Diddy is very, very worried, and he's very, very afraid. And if you thought what he did in that trial were cheap tricks that worked on the desperate few, I believe in the jury that were fooled, that whole jury that was fooled, I'm sure they have something big coming up. We are entering in go time. We are entering in a time where we need to be paying attention. Let's see what happens. The 25th is the first thing. Hopefully things go well, and then he'll be at sentencing. But again, I feel like Judge Aaron is going to do the right thing, because Judge Aaron's the one that told us that he was the violent mofo. Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.